Thank you. Thank all of you. And now, after we presented the work of the CEDARS, we are very curious to see what are the 4 fellows, actually there are 5, but only 4 will present now, what they are doing within the next 5 months here in Dortmund. Do you have a special order? Who want to start? And no. Then.
Hello. This is too high, I'm too small. My name is Hanna Rode, and I'm one of the 5 fellows here at the Academy. It's so strange because I can't see you, the light is like... And to be honest, I was quite nervous, because for me this is a new situation. I'm working in a very analog way, so my background is like I'm a stage and costume designer, and started to have a big focus on masks and then with puppets, but I was very analog, doing everything with my hands. And now I'm surrounded by people, experts, digital experts, and very often I hear a word or vocabulary. I call it vocabulary because I have to look it up, to Google it, what the heck are you talking about? So this is quite new for me. And I applied here because I'm very interested in somewhat hybrid forms where I take or in my case, the best things from the traditional theater techniques and combine them with digital innovations there where it is good for my work. And so I'm just telling a bit about my work, or maybe a bit more why, when I go to the theater or to the cinema or to an exhibition, I go there because I want to feel something. I want to feel something which is bigger than life, or more precisely, bigger than my life. And I want to get introduced to feelings I didn't know, the good ones and the bad ones. And I want to, re-experience feelings I maybe forgot about. So this is one thing I'm very into, and the other one is that I try, or that I like, and also I try to do arts, but most of the times I don't know if it's really working. I'm interested in arts which is accessible, so which can be read by a construction worker, as well as from an author, from a farmer, as well as everyone who is part of the art bubble. So I started to work with the questions, how can, I had written down these questions, how can the outer appearance of a character become a strong narrative position so that you can read something without understanding, even without knowing the language the people are talking in, and how can I create that is read and perceived primarily through the body and not the intellect. So and that's why in the beginning I was working with masks, then I noticed, or then I liked that when you're wearing masks that you're becoming like a human puppet. And then I was like, okay, maybe I need to focus on this puppetry, because I mean, here are a lot of puppeteers as well, so we all know this magic when you, I don't know, when you look at the puppet and you know it's dead in a way, but just by the looks or the glance you give to the puppet, it becomes alive. And if the puppet dies, the puppet really dies in front of you in the minute. And you can't really do that with an actor, because you always know the actor or the actress is acting. And I really liked this magic, and I wanted to take that and combine it with the aspect of letting a puppet speak, not like with doing it like this, so doing it digitally. So my research topic is quite big, and I don't have a clue if it's going to turn out well, but I do want to do research on violence or how to depict violence on stage. And of course, the thing or the problem with violence is that you either reproduce it or you skip it or you aestheticize it. And I think there has to be like something, because there's so much violence around us, and I don't know, there has to be something on stage which is reflecting on that. And I thought about what kind of situation can I build to have the chance to research, but not inflicting violence on the person who I'm working with, and also maybe using this magic from the figurative object theater. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to make an Alan Oak figure, a puppet. I'm going to animate it within the green screen studio, and I'm wearing a morph suit so I can erase myself so that the puppet is really doing like being alive in a way. I'm going to record that, and then I'm going to build somewhat some kind of like a doppelganger, duplicate of the face, and animate that digitally, and then put it together. And because I have recorded it in the green screen studio, I have the chance to put this new character, this hybrid character, into different environments. So I'm working, like every time I'm finding something interesting, I record it. It's 1 minute snippets of like a street corner in Dortmund, or I don't know, like bees and stuff like that, and the sky and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm also recording or collecting field recordings in a shopping mall or at the Central Station in Munich during the Oktoberfest. And so I have like layers of environment, sound, text, because the puppet can talk because of the digital animation, and of course the body postures from the puppet who is made by hands. And I want to find out which are expressions of violence which really reach out to us, because we are so spammed with a lot of violent images. And I want to, if I come to this point, I would like to track the audience reaction. That it is.
Hello, my name is Laura. I'm fellow here as well, and I wanted to bounce to Anna because we have some some common view, I would say. I'm a performer. I work as a freelancer and guest mainly, but I am also like in a long-term active into inclusive company / theater in Berlin, which is for me really important to my profile or artistic statement. I'm educated in dance, theater, and puppetry. I studied one after the other to finally understand that my way is to combine the stuff. So it was a long journey. And so in my own work, I really try to mix those fields, or for a project where I have the freedom to do so, because I found for me that this pluridisciplinarity has really a really big potential to increase the expressive power on a stage, and also that those fields can nourish each other. And also I love that stage is kind of prism of different truths, and not only one linear truth coming from this is art and the rest is wrong. So yeah, that's how I try to work in my own work. And sometimes for project, I work only as a dancer or as an actress or as a puppeteer, but I think that's something that is feeding my view anyway. And I also love really the question, like, what does the project need? How I can nourish the project and not the form. And I'm also a big fan of movement research, of exploring deep meaning of movement, and what does it mean on a stage to use my body as an instrument, no matter if it's with movement, with voice, with text, whatever, or to animate something external. And this exploration between using flesh and using material, I found it really interesting and with a lot of possibility, also especially in feministic topic. And I really love to combine this possibility of I am the instrument and I have the instrument in my hand, and all the possibility that are in between. And for me, it's really an endless field of exploration. So coming to that, my research, what I'm doing here is I'm working with motion capture in a way that I worked as a dancer and performer with motion capture already, and I discovered for me a lot of parallel between avatars and puppet, whatever. And so the main motivation for me was that I want to use a basic of animation from puppetry to translate that on the moving body, and then to work with motion capture to see how we can use those animation technique to explore the aliveness from avatars. Because I somehow felt that motion capture for dance or generally there is so much to explore, and there is so much possibility of translation, of flow, of movement, and all those, flowy stuff, I would say. But I saw also some kind of limitation in a way that how like the impulse or the tension or all the pelvic movement are not necessarily translated. And so I came to the idea to use this main principle of puppetry, that you have something that is not alive, and by animating it, you pretend that is alive, and you somehow animate it and give breath in this thing that you have. And this is what I would love to explore here, to translate those principles in an avatar, to explore the nuances, to explore the possibility, and not in a way that my goal of exploration is not to pretend that the avatar are humans. That's not what I'm interested in, because I think there is a difference between the aliveness of something, the organical part of something, and the humanness. And because I think also when you animate an object, your job as a puppeteer is to pretend that it's alive. All the rest is depending on projection. It's depending on if you put emotion in that or not. So I think my main focus is working with the breath, how to translate the breath to stuff and then to me and to avatars, and working also with nuances, with isolation, with impulse, with against movement or end point of movement, which are really basic work from puppetry, and to see how it can develop to avatars. And yeah, because I felt that there is a big exploration potential, and that I love that the avatar can be totally strange and totally non-organic and using the glitch and whatever, but I love the fact that those stuff are dramaturgical choices and not coming because the technique is somehow limited, or yeah. So basically that's me. Thank you so much.
Hello. I'm not going to talk about my work today. My work is still at a very unfinished point. Sorry. I tell you something short about my person. I hope that is okay. Okay, my name, Piet, and currently I'm a fellow 2 at the Academy. Born in Berlin, I finished the school after 10th class to be able to work in fictional film. Then at the age of 18, I started working in camera direction and producing bigger music video productions on analog film, 35 millimeters. Mostly hip-hop productions, later also commercial and short films. I became interested in theater then, worked for 10 years at the Hebel Theater in Berlin during Matthias Lienthal's period. During then time, I built up and managed the artistic and technical video department. After this time, I concentrated again on my own work. In 2014, I moved to Switzerland to study art at the Zurich Art School, specializing in media arts. Today, I would say that all these different disciplines flow into my work, and I work on films, performance, for explain optogram program, how I kill my digital camera, and work a lot now in artistic and scientific research as a research assistant and artist. And now I'm here. And I'm very glad about it. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, it's me again. Still Björn. Okay, so what am I doing here at the Academy? The research topic is how to create an messenger-based immersive experience. So the idea is to use something that doesn't need technological equipment that is cumbersome and maybe expensive or needs explanation, but of course to need something that we all have, smartphone, or most of us have smartphone and headphones, and to tell a story using a messenger, and to tell the story, like I said, immersively, and also to free that from the constraints of a stage. So it will not only not be a stage-based performance, it also will not be a site-specific performance, but it should be a site-not-specific performance, if that makes sense. And also something that is free from the constraints of time. So because in our normal sense of a performance, of course, let's say it takes 1.5 hours to do something, to experience something, but how to tell a story that maybe lasts a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months even, in a way that it still works for the people who are doing this. So we've been doing 2 projects where we used a very great framework developed by a German game theater company called Machina X, they developed this framework called AdapterX, which actually allows you to drive all kinds of technological processes in theater, but they also have an API for Telegram. And so we've developed 2 different performances, one together with the Hungarian-born and Amsterdam-based theater director Edith Kaldor, that was called Parallel Lives, was conceived obviously during the pandemic, and the question of how do we do theater if we actually cannot really meet, at least not in inside spaces. And there we worked intensively with sending participants audio messages and guiding them through the city, through certain, they had tasks and something like that. So I heard a lot about that kind of audio walks, but actually it was an interactive audio walk. And the end here was that the whole people who are doing this thing parallelly at the same time at the end met. And another project was Solingen 1993. It's about a racistic murder attack that has taken place in the city of Solingen in the year 1993, where 4 Turkish-born young women and girls were killed in a neo-Nazi attack. And we did this work at the Schauspielhaus in Düsseldorf. That's basically 30, 40 kilometers from here. But the thing was a site-specific walk where you actually walked through the city of Solingen and went to the places, to the sites where stuff happened and where something came together. But the whole thing was also driven by this messenger-based system where people were actually getting information, little videos, little stuff. So I'm confident that the whole, let's say, the framework works very well. I'm interested in this question of the longer term and what kind of stories do you need actually to tell so that this works? Because I think you need a special kind of narrative also in order for this whole thing to make sense. So that's one element is Telegram, let's say, and the other thing is also binaural sound. I've heard that term a couple of times already also, because of course this enables you to create an immersive experience without very complicated technology, at least on the user's end. Although, of course, the smartphone is a super complicated piece of technology, but you know what I mean. I don't know where I will be ending with this thing. I'm super interested, basically, in the storytelling aspect of that. So, yeah, we will see. January is the end of the whole thing, so I don't know where we'll be. Thank you very much.